Now, it's been a turbulent few weeks for Angela Merkel, with pressure rising on her fragile governing coalition. But today, the German Chancellor will face questions from journalists at her annual summer news conference. The coalition crisis after Interior Minister Horst Seehofer threatened to resign over her migrant policy is likely to be on the agenda, as is her relation with US President Donald Trump and the aftershocks of his visit to last week's NATO summit, where he turned on Germany. Well, our correspondent Jessica Saltz is in Berlin with all the latest for us. Jessica, I mean, Merkel, she has had a tough start, hasn't she? And with, you had the migration crisis, the almost toppling of her government. Will all these be downplayed, you think, by her?
Well, yes, this very drawn-out public dispute over migration policy really nearly highlighted massive cracks in the Conservative alliance and nearly brought down the German government. And this has affected the public perception of Angela Merkel as leader. We've seen a recent slump in opinion polls for her. And, of course, she was massively publicly undermined by her own Interior Minister, Horst Seehofer, and his CSU party in Bavaria. So I think one of the big questions in the press conference today will be, can Angela Merkel continue to work with Seehofer and the CSU party in government for the next 3 years? She will be keen to play down any residual tensions about this and prove that she is moving forwards to concentrate on other domestic issues that are of concern to Germans. In fact, this week, Angela Merkel visited a hospital, a retirement home and a dairy farm in different parts of the country. I think a real sign that she wants to prove that she's moving on from the migration debate.
The one topic that we do know that will be big is Trump, isn't it? So how concerned do you think our Germans are about the relationship between the two countries now?
Well, Donald Trump remains a massive challenge for Angela Merkel, not least because he's very publicly critical of her government on issues from migration to trade to most recently Germany's gas dealings with Russia. And the German public opinion overwhelmingly shares the skepticism and indeed frustrations of Donald Trump that German Chancellor has. His style and his verbosity is very difficult to something that's very difficult to understand in Germany. But even though ties between Berlin and Washington are very, very strained at the moment, a positive working relationship with Washington when it comes to diplomacy and especially trade remains very important for Germany. And I think this is something Angela Merkel will really be pushed on today in the conference. How does she plan to work with Donald Trump and the United States moving forward? Because the relationship does remain very important. I think also closer to home, of course, there are divisions in Europe that remain, and Angela Merkel will also be asked questions on this in the press conference today.